Hello and
Welcome
welcome back
back.
to Wild Wiles Sports. I know we took a wee bit of a hiatus. Life got
Things
busy,
look,
but we had to come back for March.
yeah, we couldn't let March pass us by without getting back on the pod and keeping the folks up to date on all things women's basketball. It's been exciting this season. There's been a couple
Yeah,
of things that are exciting.
yeah. I mean, obviously, we're recording and releasing this on Selection Sunday for the March Madness tournament, but I mean, a few things have happened since then. Where did you go, Mom? Did you go anywhere?
I might have mentioned, I went to the Unrivaled League, and I can't tell you how many people, when I say that, we went to watch Unrivaled, they don't know what I'm talking about. And so
Yeah,
just consider this a public service announcement. You still have time. We're in the playoffs right now, but you did miss some of the best basketball I've ever seen.
yeah.
Unrivaled League is 3-on-3. It's professional women, multiple folks from the WNBA, all the big names that you've heard of, minus like, okay, Caitlin Clark didn't play this year. Who
But
else was there?
let me,
Oh,
somebody said this to me once. It's just, I don't remember who, but somebody out in public. It's not because they don't like her. She was invited. She
yeah,
just
I'm
decided to
sure. Absolutely.
work on the
She just
game herself.
had
Like,
have you seen her? She's been in the weight room like
yeah,
24/7 and eating protein. And so yeah, she's a little and she had some other kind of things she hasn't had a break from basketball at
right.
all. So I think this was really good and I think it allowed the spotlight to be on. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks outside of women's basketball who have kind of an inflated sense. I'm probably going to get in trouble. This is a little bit controversial, but they have an inflated sense of her impact right now. Whereas I know that she is a fantastic player and will go down in history as one of the GOATs.
Mhm.
But there are some very talented and actually probably more talented folks that are playing right now. I
Well,
feel like I
she's top five. We know that. She's top
okay,
five.
she's
She's
top
top five
five.
in WNBA right now. She's not the best player in WNBA right now.
No, and so gosh, I don't mean to start off our podcast with such a
I We're so controversial, and
so
this is supposed to be
controversial,
about
but I mean,
college.
so you asked, the first question was, where did I go? We went to Miami and we saw the Unrivaled League in person. For those of you who don't know, again, it's a 3-on-3 league for professional women, and it is a full court game
Hmm.
that is played on a little bit shorter court.
Hmm.
And they have one location for it. It is in Miami, Florida, and they've built an incredible arena that is very small in terms of, physical size and who they can, how many fans they can accommodate. But the fan experience while you're there is incredible. But the thinking behind it was to create a TV experience because the
Yeah.
world we live in, folks are always watching something on some streaming service or whatever, and so this was really made to market to TV. And I'd say I don't know if it's mission accomplished as far as TV ratings. I haven't. That's interesting to look at, but I'll tell you what they have. They have created an experience that is incredible for fans to be at in person. You're right there. No matter where you are in the arena, if you happen to be sitting at the scorer's table, you do. I mean, that's just how it works.
I wasn't
And
invited, if you're wondering. I was not invited.
well, you are, that might not be true because you do have school.
Whatever.
Uh,
And the
now,
point of the story is tomorrow night will be your last chance to tune in to Unrivaled for the season. So we would both highly recommend that.
I would absolutely. The future is unrivaled. I mean, this was a really unique. I mean, no one's doing this 3-on-3, a major league with so much player-centered amenities. There we go.
But-
That's the word. Amenities. So many player-centered amenities that make the game, make all of those players the best that they can be, and it was just an incredible experience, and it was really fun to watch them run out and fist bump with Brittany Griner, Sabrina Ionescu, you just any of them, you name it, they were right there. So it's an incredible league, and I would very much encourage you to catch on TBS, TNT, or Max, however you want to watch. We have one more game, which this was poorly planned on
I
behalf of
know.
Unrivaled, because what did we need to watch tonight?
We watched Selection Sunday. We watched maybe the first quarter of the playoff game and then had to switch over.
So the future's Unrivaled. If you didn't watch it, I'm sure you're gonna have another chance, because not only did they have incredible 3-on-3, but then they did something that I think the NBA ought to think about, the one-on-one tournament.
For sure.
Holy cow, that's a next level of intensity. And I'll be interested to see what they do going forward with, guards and centers. But what an
Yeah.
exciting time for just women's basketball in general. But that was a really great tournament, midway through, or close, a little over, like 2/3 of the way through the unrivaled season. That one-on-one tournament. You have to be in some shape. You have to be in some shape to do any of it. But man, that was that was something.
hmm Okay, let's jump into the topic of today. The bracket has now been released. We haven't had a whole lot of time to sit with it to make we're just giving you like our very fresh opinions. Um, do you want to go region by region, or you just want to start with overall thoughts?
Well, I want to start with some overall thoughts.
All right, let's do that.
I am concerned that if things, okay, here's a new term. I suppose
Here
everybody
you go.
else
Yeah,
knows this
I
term.
learned a new term
What,
too.
what's the new term? If everything goes according to
Chalk.
chalk. What was that?
I've been watching basketball a long time, never heard that before.
Never heard that. If it goes according to chalk. And they just kept saying it like we all know what that means. And I mean, from context, clearly we can figure it out, but it was like, wow. Well, yeah, if it's going according to chalk. All right, who's chalk? So
I don't know. I like it.
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, my problem is if it goes according to chalk, then we're looking at some teams playing each other for the fourth time. And
Yeah.
that's concerning. Just because by the time you get to the fourth time of playing a team, I think things can you've picked each other apart so much. So who are we talking about here? Who would be playing for the fourth time? UCLA and USC,
hmm
South Carolina and
Texas.
no, Texas. Okay,
Texas.
yeah. So by the time what's that like? I mean, you've done it more recently than I have. What's that like when you're playing a team for the fourth time in one season?
The fourth time is crazy. I just remember people saying like it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And that's obviously was true because USC beat UCLA twice and then lost to them a third time. So, gosh, like I don't know. I think the only team I played multiple times, like I mean, we only played a couple teams like twice. We never played teams 3 or 4 times in a season.
You would think it's a 64 team bracket. I they I've listened to an interview with the commissioner of the selection committee, and she said that they stuck to the S curve. So that clears everything up.
Yeah. This is like an AP stats thing, I assume. But
Yep.
um, I was thinking about it, and like, yeah, obviously that's not ideal. It's not gonna be probably the best basketball, and it's not gonna be the most exciting, and it's not gonna draw the most viewers. Telling you that right now. However, the 4 teams we're talking about are the 4 best teams in the country. That's point blank period to me. But I would rather see them, they have to match up at some point, and I would rather see them play each other in the Final Four because I would rather see South Carolina play USC or UCLA or whoever in the national championship than see South Carolina versus Texas in the national championship. I think putting them on the same side does give the opportunity for the national championship to be a little bit more exciting.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I feel like we might have, I mean, things might not go according to chalk.
I don't
Um,
think that
who's your sleeper in all of this then? Who are you excited about? I obviously a one seed or somebody a team that's not a one seed that I think we have to pay a lot of attention to, as usual, is UConn. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's interesting. We've seen this matchup before. We've seen USC and UConn in the same region as the one and the two just last year.
right. Right. So I feel like the committee keeps giving us, these games that we'd rather see further down the road, earlier in the bracket, but that's the way it goes. I'm also pretty excited about seeing who gets, we know that I got some interesting stats about what generally happens here. 359 of the, wait a second. So the top three seeds are 359 and one overall. So when
Yeah.
you're filling out your bracket, that is, something to consider. That top seeds, you can go according to chalk if you're thinking of ways to win your competitive bracket with your friends or whatever, but that's boring too. I mean, we want to see some shakeups. And so what's a shakeup that you're thinking might be on the horizon?
I mean, it's not necessarily a huge shakeup because they are a three seed, but normally when you're looking at who's going to be in the Elite Eight, you're thinking it's probably going to be the one and the two, but like Notre Dame as a three seed was a little crazy to me. And Region 3 with the Texas's region, hands down the easiest region on the bracket. And no, a three seed, I could see like a three seed coming. I could see Notre Dame coming out of that region.
I agree. Notre Dame, they the commissioner talked about how there was an interaction effect, which again, there's so much math. I didn't know. No one told me there'd be math in this, but that they lost 3 of 5 down the stretch. And then competitors, that they were also ranking them against had, accelerating seasons towards the end. So that's how the S curve goes, whatever that means. I don't know. But I am surprised the team that was the number one team in the nation not too long ago is now a 3 seed. I am surprised that South Carolina didn't come with the one overall, but you can't lose a game by damn near 30 and still be the top seed. So, I think the
Here's
one
what
thing
I'll
that was
say. Uh, UCLA got that one seed by 2 points, and I'll explain. That's how I see it. They beat Iowa by 2 points. They lose that game? No way. No way they're the number one seed.
look at this. So we got our Iowa Hawkeyes. Remember, we do talk quite a bit about the Hawkeyes on this pod. Where'd they end up? We're here, they're in the Spokane
They are in
region.
Region 4 with USC, which
Okay. And
I don't know about that. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at the one seeds and you're Iowa, you're like, okay, we beat USC, put me in that
that's
region.
right. Yeah.
But since they are 6 seed, they'll have to go up against a 2 seed first, and UConn is hands down the strongest 2 seed on this bracket. Like TCU, Duke, NC State, none of those
Yeah.
are UConn.
No, yeah. So they did draw a rough one there, um, in that regard, but weirder things have happened. Uh, this UConn team, I think is gonna have something to prove with Paige chomping at the bit to try to get some kind of championship,
Yeah.
as well known as she is, and in her final season with the Huskies. I would think that that's something to watch out for. Something else to watch out for. I did like how that TCU was playing. We got the Louisville, Nebraska matchup in the first round. That'll be a pretty good game, I would think. But we have a lot of pretty good games, and you never
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
mean, 359 and one, but we are seeing so much more parity that you might be safe in picking a lower seed.
Yeah. One of my takeaways from this, and I haven't gone through and counted how many SEC schools are in this, how many whatever. I'll say it. Big Ten is the best conference in the country. Hmm?
Make your case. It's awfully competitive. Why do you say that?
I say that because, I mean, first of all, we have USC and UCLA. Two of the number, I know you can say the same thing about the SEC. They have two number one seeds, but we have two number one seeds. I just kept noticing a lot of Big Ten teams. So we got Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa, obviously. I'm probably missing some, but um, Indiana, I think, is in there too. Like, it's a lot of tournament teams.
It
And
is.
yeah, I
Big
think
12 is also very well represented in this field, especially as we start thinking about some potential spoilers. Who do you like from the Big 12?
from the Big 12, I mean, obviously there's TCU. I don't know if anyone else from the Big 12 is gonna make it super far.
Really?
Iowa State's a play-in, like Kansas State, they gotta go up against a really good Kentucky team.
Mhm.
I don't know. Oklahoma State, that's Big 12,
Well,
right?
who
They're Big
isn't
12?
Oklahoma? Yeah, and isn't
Yeah.
no Oklahoma? Who's Oklahoma?
No,
Oh boy.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, different conferences, I believe.
Right. Well, here we are. That's something we can address on the next pod. But I really kind of,
You think they're the same?
no, I think Oklahoma must be not in the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't think
Uh,
Oklahoma is, but I don't know a whole lot
well,
about Oklahoma. I know they got that Reagan Beers girl who's really good.
mhm. Well,
Um,
and Rebecca Lobo was very excited about him. She said she's been calling a lot of their games and she's excited to see what they bring. We know that West Virginia, they always play
ooh,
some
West
kind of
Virginia is a good team. That's true. They
and
they almost knocked off Iowa last year.
that's yeah. And so we've got just a whole lot of excitement coming up in that time of year where
Illinois,
we
another Big Ten.
yeah, Illinois versus Creighton. That'll be an 8 and 9. What do you think?
Listen, I'm from Omaha. I love the Blue Jays. I've been a huge fan for a long time. They're not moving on. They are not moving on. Um,
Right here on Wild Wiles Sports.
listen,
It's
Creighton, I know they've been ranked in the top 25 at points this season. I just disagree. They're not a top 25 team, and they haven't been all season. There's not a single point where I'm like, they deserve to be in the top 25. Um, I mean, I just like, who do they play?
Big East.
Yeah, I mean, they played UConn, and they got smacked by UConn time and time again. Like, I don't know, it's not fair. UConn's a very good team, but it's just like Creighton. I think they lost to Green Bay at the beginning of the season.
That right. Oh wow. I
Maybe
saw
they
Green
did.
Bay.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. But it was at least close if they didn't. And who else? They played somebody else pretty close. Um, uh, Northern Iowa. They played them pretty close. Like, and those are good teams. Green Bay's in the tournament, but
Yeah.
those are not top 25 teams. Like the Big East is one of the weakest conferences in Division One. Notice they don't have any other teams. It's just Creighton and UConn. I'm a Big East hater. I'll say it.
There you go. Well, that's a bold stance.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I am happy for the Ivy League. They have what, three teams in the tournament? They have Harvard, Columbia, Princeton.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think sometimes we're quick to write off some of these really good teams who have won maybe 30 games in the season.
There's
And just
so many
because they're
30
not
games,
from
a lot of
and
30 game.
yeah,
Like for example, TCU, 31-3. Last year, they were calling for folks to come try out for the team. Now
that's
they
good.
have
Yeah, that's true. That's
that
true.
that's why he was the coach of the year. I just used his pronoun because I can't think of his name, but but that's an incredible feat to have that kind of turnaround. I'm excited to see what happens for Haley Van Lith during this tournament. She generally rises to the occasion. I'm excited about Tennessee.
Me too.
I feel like, they have, but they ended the season on kind of a low note. They lost three out of their four last games to end 22-9. But I feel like Tennessee uh has, as they lead the NCAA in points per games off turnovers. We know the defense is going to be really critical. And let me look at their path here again. Who do they have? See, that jumped out to me that they have a shot to get. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Elite Eight.
No, me neither.
Um, and I think they can absolutely handle Ohio State. Um,
Yep.
and then they run into Texas potentially, but still anything can happen, and that team has been exciting at different times, which we've seen, for a lot of folks. This is the first since 2021. This is the first time that South Carolina hasn't been the overall number one seed.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And
Yeah, so I think
some of
now
us are
they've
being are think they should think they deserve it. Like that's crazy.
right. So I think getting South Carolina with a chip on their shoulder here to start off the tournament, it's kind of I
Scary.
fear for, yeah, I fear for anyone in their way. So that's go Dawn. Um, what else? I always like a Maryland team. There's a
Maryland gets to
Brenda.
host.
Yes, they do. And Brenda Fries is quite a coach and will get her team ready. So she's another potential I don't know, dark horse or maybe Elite Eight. I'm not sure.
Team
But I
I'm
mean,
I'm looking at and I'm worried about is LSU. Um, because they've had a good season, can't count them out, but I think it's really just going to depend on who's ready to play, like who's there and who's healthy. Like without Anissa Morrow and Flajay Johnson, I don't trust them to do much.
no, I haven't heard much about what's going on with Flage, but to me, so do you know?
I do not. No,
Um, to
I
me,
just know
she's
she hasn't
key.
played.
She hasn't played. So hopefully this rest, we just want to see everybody have their best foot forward,
Yeah.
regardless of whatever team it is. This is the time of year that you want everybody healthy. So,
Oh, there are six teams that have never been in the tournament before.
well, welcome to the dance, ladies. This is
That's so
exciting.
exciting. That's so exciting. I think it's gonna be a good tournament. But I want to know, let's get your final four. Now we've seen the bracket, we've talked about it. We've talked about what could happen. What is it, chalk out, chalk up, gall go to chalk, whatever it is.
Go to chalk. If it all goes to chalk.
But if
Uh,
it does it not, let us know what you think.
so, are we going to end up? What are you thinking?
Okay, let's
I,
see.
if if LSU can get everybody healthy, I think they can give UCLA a great
Mm.
run. Um, to potentially, I mean, as much as I don't necessarily want to see that happen, um, that's possible. But probably go with UCLA for the for my first in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Who do you see in that first
Fine.
region?
Out of
Spokane
Spokane.
one.
Yeah, I would agree. I think UCLA is probably going to take it all the way. Um, if LSU is healthy, they could take it, but I have UCLA for Spokane one. Okay, let's see. Our second region, um, Birmingham two. Um, I'm not an idiot, so I'm gonna take South Carolina.
Same. I don't see anybody standing in Don's way.
Yeah.
Um, and then Birmingham three.
Mm-hmm. It's a tricky one.
I'm, I'm, I think it's gonna be TCU.
Oh, hot take. I
Why
don't
not?
think so.
I mean, what a perfect Cinderella story. You know, you go from, I mean, it's rags to riches. You were literally holding tryouts. I'm calling it for them because that's what I want, which is why I never
Okay,
went
that's
there.
not how we did it. I'm gonna take Notre Dame. I mean that, but to be fair, TCU did beat Notre Dame earlier
They
this
did.
season. That's,
Yeah.
but I just think,
So
Hannah has a,
we're not going with Texas. That's going to be our one seed that doesn't make it.
yeah, I don't think Texas. I mean, I have been saying I do think they're gonna make it all year, but um, I don't know. They got Madison Booker, who's really, really good. I think they're gonna go all the way to the Elite Eight. Don't get me wrong, but I do think this could be an upset.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna take. I think, Hannah Hidalgo
I
was
think,
in
yeah, I
conversation
know
for
it.
Player of the Year. So
And as I sit here and think about it, I'm like, you're probably right. But I'm just going to stick to what I said so we
yeah,
can
go
move
for
on.
it. Make sure you put that on
But
your bracket when we go up against each
we'll
other.
see. This isn't the official. You have to really marinate in
Oh
this.
yeah, for sure.
These are initial impressions. We aren't ready to make official recommendations yet. And then
Okay, for our
Spokane.
last region, I'm you're are you gonna take Iowa? I'm gonna take UConn.
I would like it. That would be really fun.
I'll tell you
Uh,
what though, if Iowa can beat UConn and gets to the Elite Eight, they need Caitlin Clark to show up because Iowa beat USC with Caitlin Clark in the building. So it's just something about her presence.
I agree, and I bet she would be. I bet she would be.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
are you seriously taking Iowa or who are you taking?
Taking UConn.
UConn. Well, so boring, we agree.
I know. I know.
Juju
Well, I
Watkins
just
player of the year?
you, but Paige Becker um is an old lady. I mean, she's an adult, grown woman
Yeah.
playing against kids. So I think plus there's the mentality, there's that they're not new to this. USC has been here once. UConn
In
has
recent history, they've been
in
here.
recent history. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like in recent history, they've been here once. UConn has not won a championship since 2016, but can you believe that? That's
It's
crazy.
been a long time. It's been
It's
a
been a long
nice
time.
break.
It's been a break. It's been a break. Uh, but I feel like that's just in the DNA, and they're gonna be ready.
Do you think I think USC might come into that game with, they're gonna remember last year. They're gonna come into that game, uh, I think with a little bit of a fire, I think.
Well, and that was the most watched game in the
Elite
NCAA
Eight.
this year.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no, regular season game,
right, when they
USC
played each
versus
other.
UConn. I don't remember how many millions of viewers, but again, we'd kind of like those to be closer to the championship, but that's
Right.
not how the S curve works.
Um, what do you think? I mean, I've already hated on the Big East a little bit tonight, but like UConn has the 48th toughest schedule, USC has the fourth. Do you think that USC, that their tougher season might have prepared them a little bit more for this tournament, might make them a little bit more ready to go, or do you think it's going to have a big impact at all?
I think UConn gets a lot of quality games outside of conference.
It's true. South
It's
Carolina, Jesus Christ.
yeah, that's something, and we just can't rule out the UConn magic. That there's just there's an aura, there's an essence, there's
Oh my
it's
God.
what it's just true. I still love Gino. I can't help it.
You love
It,
Genius?
it I do, and I'll go on record as saying it. And in honor of the greatest player of all time, who just recently retired, Diana Taurasi, I want to see her team and her coach go out with the same style that she was able to. I wanted a farewell tour, kind of like Sue
Yeah.
Bird did. But this
Do you
is
think they're
where
gonna bring back the Bird and Taurasi show for the Final Four? If you haven't seen it, it's the Final Four. They commentate the games. It's like on ESPN2 or something. Um, if you love basketball and you're ready to lock in and watch some basketball, don't watch it.
they're distracting, they get off topic,
Yeah.
they just have a good time. But if you want to be entertained and maybe get a laugh or two, um, yeah.
All right. I asked you for your Final Four. I'm gonna put you on the spot one more time. Give me a national champion right now.
Carolina.
South Carolina? Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is fun though. I am so excited and I hope everybody else is too.
Best
We
time of the
are,
year.
it is the best time of the year. It's time where it makes perfect sense to have four different screens going to watch a 16 versus a one. We gotta catch that game that they're gonna win by 30, whatever.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while you get something exciting happening in those early rounds. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let's take a second for a mind's minute.
Hear it. Oh.
Yeah, tell them what happened a couple weeks ago.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Colorado School of Mines attended a tournament that was hosted by the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. They played in the Cook Pavilion, and they had a tough couple of games. First one, they lost to Creighton.
We were up the
You'll
whole time until like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Elaine was on fire. And then they started really playing some tough defense on you. I
I've
mean, they
never
were
been
stuck
face
to
guarded
you.
before in my
Yeah, they
life.
were stuck to you like glue. Okay, so after that Creighton game, so you drained how many threes during the game? I don't know, three,
Huh.
four, a lot. And scored a bunch of points. And then they had a 3-point contest with two players from each team shooting 12 shots with rebounders. I mean, it was the whole deal where it's a legit 3-point contest. And somebody here on this call had, did you have 9 out of 12? Was it?
No.
Oh, how
And
many did
I
you miss?
missed two. I only missed two.
10 out of 12, my bad. Okay, 10 out of 12 3-pointers, which I mean, that will win pretty much any 3-point contest. And so hands down, the champion is the one and only Elaine Wiles. Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
the 3-point champion,
Thank you.
Elaine
No,
Wiles. And this
I
has
couldn't.
been,
I couldn't have done it without my rebounders.
you did have the best rebounders. I could tell they were key. They were key.
And putting the ball right where I wanted it. It was great.
Yep. Anything else that you'd want to say about your, I had a ball.
It was fun.
It was fun. It was fun to watch just the free play of, for the joy of it, for the fun of it, and to see you thrive and have such a good time and with your teammates and doing the road trip thing again. How great is that?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and actually, one of my teammates sent me our podcast that showed up on their For You page. So, Julia, if you're watching, hello. Okay. Well, so to recap, tune in tomorrow night to Unrivaled Finals. It's gonna be the Rose and either Vinyl or the Owls. My money's on the Owls. And then I think
That's the other thing, the money. I hate to, we're
no,
trying to wrap it up, but the money in Unrivaled is where we need to be heading. I mean, it is
yes,
demonstrating paying the players what they're worth, what they're drawing. I mean, okay, so that's all I
yes.
need to say there. There, yeah. All right, go ahead.
And then I think playing games, so the first four starts Wednesday, and the round of 64 starts on Friday. So
We'll see
it's
you
the best
soon.
best time of the year. Welcome to March
Go ahead
Madness, and
all.
welcome back to Wild Wiles Sports. We'll be back soon.
We'll be back soon.